Are you trying to raise millions for your SaaS startup? When this founder built a 10 plus million ARR company with zero funding and 100% ownership, Sharad Mehta, founder and CEO of REsimpli, sits down with host Jesse Burrell to discuss building and scaling a bootstrapped SaaS company in the PropTech space through product excellence and customer-first philosophy. Welcome to the Real SaaS Podcast. Real talk with the builders behind the most innovative SaaS companies in PropTech and beyond. We dig into product market fit, team building, funding, failures, and the playbooks driving growth. No fluff, just raw insights on strategy, execution, and what's coming next. Now, here are your hosts.
What is going on? And welcome to another episode of the Real SaaS Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Burrell, done over $120 million in software sales. And I have on Sharad, who is another SaaS beast that is in the PropTech space. Sharad, before we get started, just tell us a little bit about your journey, just a couple quick minutes, and how you started and what REsimpli looks like today.
I started about 6-7 years ago. I'm active investor, used to live in Chicago, was investing right after Chicago, moved to California where I live now, started looking at the software I would need in my business to manage my business. Podio was pretty much what everyone was using. I think I logged into Podio for like 2 minutes. I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to use this. So I hired a couple of developers to create something for myself, and it just kind of like grew from there into what it is now. You know, I'm still actively flipping. I do about 35 flips a year, but vast majority of my time is spent on running and managing REsimpli.
Yeah. So we have very similar stories then, because I was kind of doing the same thing with how we created, batch skip tracing, then batch leads and batch dialer.
No, Evo and Annie and I were in the same mastermind. I think that's kind of where we started in Sharper leadership with Gary Harper. Yeah, that's kind of where we started. So it's interesting.
Yeah. And, they know you. I haven't got to spend much time talking with you, so I'm excited to actually have you on the podcast today and learn a little bit more about what you do. Because personally, I think you're insane. If I don't know how you're running a software company and still doing flips. We gave up on the real estate investing side for the active side, I think in 2020. That's 5 years ago. Talk about a stupid mistake to exit flipping in 2020 when you had 2.5 years of a bull run there, but it led us to stay singularly focused on, as you know, just our softwares. And, lucky enough, we were able to carve out and sell part of it about a week ago, and we got to announce it today. So that was super exciting. But back to you. Tell us about your current, and we're just going to focus on REsimpli today. Tell us like your current business. Where's it at today? What are you guys doing? What's exciting you about that company?
Yeah, we have thousands of investors all over the country using us, from people that are just getting started. I'm sure we have a handful of people that are, common customers between us and I guess PropStream now. So it feels weird to say that. Yeah, I'm sure
I never thought I would be having this hat on my head. I could tell you that much.
I know. That's crazy. It's crazy. I'm the first one doing this interview with you after the announcement. So congrats again, man. That's exciting.
Thank you.
No, we have investors all over the country, from people that are just starting out all the way up to investors that are doing 200, 300, 400, 500 deals a year using the platform. It's been absolutely amazing. Honestly, I never thought when I first started the company we would be where we're at now, and then just even more excited about the future things that we have coming. I get up every day feeling absolutely blessed to be doing what I'm doing, and it just kind of grew from what I was doing. I still own 100% of the business, so we never had to raise any money. We're cash flow positive. Incredible team of people that we work with. I could not feel more blessed with what I'm doing. Absolutely grateful.
Yeah. And I guess for people that don't know, you want to explain because you have a CRM, but I know it does more than just
absolutely
CRMing. So for people listening to the podcast and just, interested in SaaS in general, kind of give a give a quick overview of just what REsimpli is.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started the company, we had three goals in mind. One, it had to be super simple to use. It's the name REsimpli. I come from an accounting background, so it had to give us really good KPIs, data analytics, and then it had to be a true all-in-one software from everything from, pulling lists, stacking lists, prospecting, managing your marketing, acquisition, disposition, and even bookkeeping and accounting. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So everything an investor needs to do from pulling a list all the way up to marketing, calling, texting, emailing, managing leads, disposition, and even doing bookkeeping and accounting. I don't use even QuickBooks in my business. We have tons of investors that don't use QuickBooks. They manage even their bookkeeping and accounting within REsimpli. But yeah, that was the goal from the beginning, just to create something where an investor can log in just one software and do everything they need to do just from one software.
That is ambitious, because I know the challenge of having to have all of these things function together and separately to make a user experience that is liked, by the customer. So it's pretty incredible to know what you've done, because I know the challenges that go along with having, batch leads, has a lot of robustness to it as well, with being able to do a lot of things and making sure that those workflows make sense and work, and people, I mean, there's a lot of times where people, which I'm sure you've experienced, is they don't even know some of the great features that you have, and you're like, we already have
100%.
that. Like,
100%. Yeah.
It's
I mean, that's a challenge, or that's a creativity challenge that we deal with. I'm the CEO, but my true passion is on the product development side. That's the stuff that I absolutely love. We're working on a major update to come out at the end of the year with everything we built, just to streamline the entire UI UX experience. It's absolutely a challenge, because when you have so many things in one platform, it's not just about adding things, it's about, okay, how do we naturally add them so it just makes sense. It just seems like a natural part of the product, not something that's been forced or unnecessarily layered over. So we're working on an update just to kind of bring everything together. But so far it's been good. I mean, but yeah, we run into that issue all the time, that we get feedback, hey, I wish you guys did that. I'm like, yeah, we already have that. We've had it for like a couple of years. Yeah.
Dude, you're preaching to the choir. Like,
Yeah.
I'll have like a friend call me, like, it's so nice if you had that. I'm like, that's been in there for 2 years, dude.
I know. Yeah.
And then it makes me feel like, what are we doing wrong to where you didn't know that? Where in our customer journey did we fail you? And a lot of the times it's people just not digging or even watching any of the videos we send or the tutorials we're asking them to kind of walk through to really show them the power of our software. Because I know so many of our tools now are so powerful for real estate investors. It's just, like, please take the time to see all the stuff that we've worked on and we've done, because there's a lot of thoughtfulness that goes into, the product roadmaps that I worked on. I know, that you worked on as well. So it's interesting figuring out how to really let your customer know all of the benefits that they have when they're paying this monthly subscription in. Because, if someone sees the value in it, the name of the game is, how do you keep people there for longer? It costs a lot more money to, acquire a new customer than to keep a happy one. So just making sure that they're seeing that value in what we have. Because I know when did you get into real estate investing? What year?
Investing, I personally started in about 15 years ago. August 2010 is when I bought my first
I was like 14-ish. And like, for what we charge to the value that we bring is incredible to when we started. I mean, there was nothing. I mean, nothing was automated. Everything was fragmented. It's crazy how, I guess it made it that much harder to kind of get in and learn it. Now it's like everything's at your fingertips. We have batch rank on batch leads now, to where someone clicks a button, we're going to tell you the most likely to sell properties in a given area. And hey, go talk, like, just go do the work. Like, here.
Right. It has, the technology has changed so much. I mean, it's like with AI now, people sometimes would ask me, hey, what's your goal for 5 years? I'm like, 5 years? I mean, I'm lucky if I can nail the next 6 months properly with how fast the technology is changing. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, Evo said, he's like, with AI and how fast it's advancing, it's even tough to have a product roadmap a year out now,
Yeah,
because there's
100%.
it's just like the scalability of how some of these things are coming out is it's pretty incredible. But okay, let's go on to the next question. How's your business, changed over the last 3 years? How differently does it look than 3 years ago? And talk about that a little bit.
I mean, I would say it's changed a lot in last year with AI. Like even the AI products that we have now, we have AI products built in where you can have AI answer the call, make outgoing call, have a conversation with someone. Like this is honestly something we didn't even have on our roadmap a year ago. And I'm like to
Yeah.
Evo's point, yeah, like the couple of years before that, it was about, okay, what additional features can we add? What additional pain points can be solved? Now it's about AI and automation. So like last 9 to 12 months has been super focused on AI stuff. Like what can we do that's gonna another challenge that we have to keep in mind, another thing that we have to keep in mind, and like the things that we're working on, it should not be gimmicky. It should not be for namesake, oh, we added something AI.
Yeah.
Yes, it's AI feature. No, is it actually adding value? Is it actually helping investors close more deals?
Yeah, a
We
lot of
have
AI
AI.
is shiny objects, and it's
Oh,
just
exactly. Yeah,
it's AI that's impactful for workflows, and it sounds like that's kind of where your
100%.
focus is at.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like what is actually going to move the needle for people? Like having AI answer the call 24/7 and have a conversation with the seller, to me, that's impactful. Like we've had 80-year-old sellers call in, talk to AI for like 10, 12 minutes straight. And previously this call would have gone to voicemail. We've had
Right.
AI make outgoing calls. We've had AI have uh, text message conversation, booked appointments, booked meetings with the seller. Like that is actually moving the needle for investors versus having, hey, AI can write emails or text messages, which is great, but is it really moving the needle for? Is it really helping you close more deals? And that's kind of the lens that we're looking through is what can we do with AI that's actually going to help people make more money at the end of the day?
So, you kind of alluded to this, or you did allude to it just real quickly, and I want to touch on it is, me and Evo bootstrap the whole batch product line. You've bootstrapped REsimpli. Let's talk about, I want to hear your opinions on the benefits of being bootstrapped and doing that. But I also want to talk about some of the drawbacks of like, maybe you wish you could have raised some money or had some growth equity come in, because there's benefits and drawbacks to both. I'd love to get your opinion on, do you enjoy being bootstrapped? Do you wish you would have maybe raised a little bit or had a strategic relationship to help you grow faster? I have some opinions on it, but I'll give it after I hear what you have to say. So I'd love to hear kind of your opinions on bootstrap versus raising some money.
I mean, honestly, I never considered raising money. I had a profitable real estate investing business. I own rental properties. I was using the money from that to invest in the company. Looking back, I don't think I would change anything. It gives me the flexibility of making the decisions that I want to make. It helps me not give a shit about what anyone's like has to. Um, I do have a coach or a mentor that I work with. I am considering giving him equity in the company, but that's he's not putting in any money, but that's something I feel like, our goals are aligned in the long term. So I'm bringing him on as an advisor. I wish the only benefit I would see is having a quarterly board of advisors that I can go to that can hold me accountable. When like I don't even have any co-founders. Like in hindsight, I wish I had a co-founder. Like kind of, I look at you, Eva and Annie. I feel envious about that. I mean, there's pros and cons of
Oh, for
that,
sure.
but yeah, I feel envious about that. Like just having someone to talk to, like I own 100% of the business, which is great, but then at the same time, I don't have anyone that's gonna challenge me on the things that, my opinions or my view about where the business should be going. So I'm bringing on someone, planning to give him equity, just almost like as a co-founder in the company, someone can challenge me, hold me accountable, hold our leadership team accountable. So that's the one part that I miss, but I don't see the net positive of raising money would be there for me. I'm very happy to be in the position that I'm in, to be able to make the decisions that I'm able to make.
Yeah. And
curious to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah. So I guess I never came at it from not having partners, but to your point, it's nice to have two partners that are very intelligent, very business savvy, to be told no, and that's not a good idea, and you haven't thought that through. At the same time, the other thing I really like too is like I can't just go fuck off for 4 weeks and go travel and just be like, I'm just going to go do whatever I want while my partners are here grinding. Like, we're obviously able to take our vacations and do our stuff, and we'll kind of, take over some responsibilities for each other for us to do those things. But it's just, I can't do what I want whenever I want. And I actually like it that way, to where I am held accountable. I have other people that are grinding next to me. And to your point, having good and bad ideas to bounce off of each other and really be thoughtful through, so you can't make as quick of a decision, I think is actually pretty important. But at the same time, on the raising money, I've always kind of been like you. It's like, get the product market fit, get profitable, and then go scale. The only advantages I see for raising money is, one, we were both in a position to where we had successful companies that could fund these companies, but that's not always the case. So we were both kind of fortunate on that side of things. But I think, to your point, is having a board of advisors, it's not as much the money, it's getting that right strategic people to maybe fund your company to grow it faster. But at the same time, I don't have relationships to get into, big MLSs with our data or this or that, to where it could have just opened some doors to get there faster and get there with some big deals that could really be profitable for you. And then when you go to sell, we didn't really, me, Annie and Evo didn't, because, as we just sold to PropStream and Stewart, but we didn't have anyone in our corner to help with some of those strategic relationships. Luckily, it happened organically, and it was just truly a win-win scenario. But I feel like if I were to go to sell again, and if I had partners, they would be able to help maybe maximize the sale, or maybe someone that was on the fence of maybe acquiring us being like, well, you already have these board of advisors. Like, okay, we could trust this team. We're willing to go put an LOI in. Those are really the only benefits I could see. But between me and you, I wouldn't change the way that I did it. And I got to keep more, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So
yeah,
that's kind of my thoughts on it.
No, it definitely gives you a lot more flexibility. I mean, just my 3 to 5 years is the same vision that eventually, want to exit the company. So I'm thinking, okay, who do I need on my team right now to have the most profit? Yeah, let's talk about it. To have the most profitable exit, so where it adds the value at the end of the day to, brings the most value. So that's why I'm bringing on a business coach that I'm working with. He sold his company for 9 figures. So I'm bringing him on, and then he's working with several other clients, that are doing very high volume. So it's good to have someone on like that on the team who's guiding me, who's saying, okay, these are the things that need to happen right now to make sure that next 3 to 5 years you get the highest ROI on the things that you're doing.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. So your ultimate goal is to have some type of exit eventually, right?
Right.
Gotcha.
I mean, yes, no, I mean, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. Like, I really feel excited about what I'm doing, but I would like to have exit not so much for myself, but for the team that I have, just so that they can get a pretty nice chunk of, I own 100% of the company, but I have
we had vesting
these
as well.
agreements. Yeah, exactly. Agreement with the team, like not stock option. Like honestly, it's a single member LLC that I own the company in. But I have, I don't even know what. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it called like
on the
we had phantom shares. So it's like they have shares, but they only
on the exit basically.
Yes.
When we exit the company, based on how much we exit, the more we exit for, the higher percentage they get. Yeah, that's exactly what we have.
Exactly. And that was kind of a big thing for me, was especially partnering and having PropStream acquire us, like our team gets to go build this super app with like the technologies that both of us have, and they get to combine and grow and get opportunities to further their career. So when this came by us, it was a no-brainer for me being able to keep batch data. So batch data is now powering PropStream and batch leads. So we have like a nice agreement and contract and relationship on that side. And then letting the team have an opportunity to go grow like crazy again with this
100%.
acquisition and what this is going to mean. That's what means the most to me. And honestly, going through the process, learning it, selling to a publicly traded company, not a lot of people have done that. And something I'm very proud of. We work very hard for it, and it was a great learning lesson to where there's definitely some advice I could give to you when that day comes of, kind of where to focus, what to focus on. Sounds like you have good mentors anyways, but just being specifically in this space and making a sale, there's a lot of things that I got to learn during this transaction of what's important to someone buying you and what's not as important maybe as you thought it would be, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, since you guys have already gone through that journey, any feedback, advice that you're able to share would be of immense value. One thing that looking back, I didn't realize when I started the company was like how much impact you have on the team that's working for you. And when you start at least for me, I should say, when I started the company, it was very transactional for me. Hey, I'm paying you this much money, you're going to do this thing. And then you see these people that are part of the company get married, have kids, grow their families, and they become more and more dependent on what you are doing. It
Yep.
adds a lot of sense of responsibility, a little bit of pressure on you, at least for
Yep.
me, that man,
100%.
like the decisions that I'm making, it's not just impacting me. And I have a successful flipping business. I own rental property. So it's not like money is
You're
not the
good.
driving factor for me. But just being able to see the decision that you're making, how it's impacting other people on the team, I had no idea about that. No idea whatsoever. I didn't think, this would ever be a factor in the decision that I'm making. But as you go along, you're like, man, that's such an important part of the decision that you're making on how what I am doing is going to impact all these people that are part of the company. So, yeah, that was something I had absolutely no idea, no way I was prepared for that.
Yeah. Like Sharad, you're going to be good financially for the rest of your life. Now, how do you take care of the people that help you build this and make sure that they could be put in a good
Yeah,
place? That was a big part of my why, these last couple of years and going through the sales, like how could I put them in a position, and for the people that don't have equity, how could I put them in a position to grow their careers and further their careers in PropStream? Stewart was a no better choice in my eyes. Is like, you don't get very many cake and eat it too moments. This is truly like transaction had some stress to it. All of them do, and they get a little wild. But at the end of the day, I knew we were partnering with a great company that had a similar culture to us, and I couldn't be more excited to. And now the hard work to start. Like, it was a bitch to get this done, and then like I was like, oh, we're done, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much more work to do.
right,
I have 100 employees that had no idea that this was coming, which I knew was coming for a long time, and kind of vision casting them and telling them what I'm telling you right now is like, hey, this is a great opportunity, not
right,
just for us, but for everyone. And we got you to where we could get to as founders. Now it's time to go to an even bigger, badder company that is backed by, Stewart Title, and just go absolutely dominate, your part of
100%.
the industry.
Yeah,
I couldn't be more excited, to be honest with you. All right, next
yeah,
topic. Since you are bootstrap, how do you balance, growth, or what's more important, balancing growth, profitability? How do you, because, this is your baby, you'll own 100% of it and it's bootstrapped. And I guess it may have changed over time, but we got to a place to where we were willing to not make a lot of profits to grow user base and top line and get to scale before we focused on profitability. How did your journey go? How did you balance, growth and profitability? And, a big part of that growth and profitability is you have to invest so much into your product to
right.
get it to a place that people are like, oh, this is awesome. And then you scale it because you've built something special. So I'd love to hear kind of your story on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think initially the goal was just to get it to the point where it was self-sustaining, that I didn't have to put more money into it. That was honestly the goal for first couple of years. And once it got profitable, after that, the goal was I don't need this money. What else can we invest this money in that's going to help us grow? So definitely the goal is to grow, keep growing without me needing to put any money into it. That's the goal. So any excess profit, cash flow that we have, we're looking to grow into whatever we can put into that's going to help us grow this company. Yeah.
Yeah, the one of the big rules when going to sell is the rule of 40 is
Right.
there needs to be at least, I would say, 25% growth is what would want to be see in an EBITDA of 15. So
Right.
that's kind of that rule of thumb. If both are better, that's
Yeah. So
always
we're
a good
yeah.
thing.
So we're above those numbers. Our
Then you're
growth
good.
this year would be 50, 60% minimum.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And then our EBITDA is about 25, 30%. So we'll get to like close to 100%, but we're looking at more opportunities to kind of, okay, where can we put more money in?
Right. That sounds like a very good problem to have, my friend.
Yeah, I'm happy to have my share of problems that I'm dealing with, Yeah, I'm happy with my set of problems.
Yeah, like our batch data side now that's my baby now, and we've had a lot of growth over the last couple of years. We invested a lot of time, money, and effort into that product, and still working on getting you to become a long-term customer. So that's something
Right.
we're working through, but that's been really fun for us, and that for me because I feel like I really got a good grasp on the wholesale investor market being one, and then serving them this B2B side and fueling other prop tech companies and fueling other bigger B2B operations with their go to markets. It's been really fun. It's a very different motion. It's a very different sales cycle, very different churn profile, very different, I guess, metrics and KPIs that really need to be focused on. It's been really fun spending the last couple of years spending time on this side too. And for me personally, I'm very excited to be able to be a little bit more singularly focused because it's so hard having all these different product lines and having all these different sets of employees or pods you want to call them, and making sure it's just, I don't know how me and Nevo did it. It was
Right.
crazy with all the stuff that we had to do and all the different teams that we had. And as I said, back to the deal with PropStream, it just made sense for everyone in every way, and
Right.
couldn't be more excited. So let's talk about a moment. Is there any moments, I guess, let's talk about the SaaS journey that you felt like a failure or you did something wrong, but ultimately it pushed your business like in a better direction?
Uh, I don't know, man. I have my my share of doubts, honestly, on a regular basis. Like looking back, when I started the company, I didn't think it would be where it's at now. I didn't think, we would be, we would have like thousands of customers using us. The team that we have. Sometimes I feel like maybe honestly I'm not the right fit for this. It's
Your
and I've told my
numbers,
team,
your
what was
numbers say
that?
differently, my friend.
No, I know, but I mean, it's honestly, it's the team that we have, man. It's the team that we have. We're only as good as the team that we built. And absolutely incredible people. Like our head of marketing. I kid you not. I hired him from Upwork, paying him $3 an hour. He's leading our marketing now. Yeah,
Wow. That's
it's
incredible.
he's grown into that role, and yeah, we hired a fractional CMO service, and they tried to hire him because of how awesome he was. Yeah. But he's super loyal, super committed. So I'm very blessed to have him. Like my CTO, same thing. Hired him from Upwork. I think he was doing some graphic designing for me, $6 an hour, some PHP work, and now he's the CTO of our company. So I mean, I have honestly my doubts on like I have all these people that are counting on me. Like that's why I like working with a coach. That's been absolutely incredible. But Yeah, I mean, it's like dealing with self-doubt all the time, which I think it's healthy in a way just to kind of, I mean, I have a tattoo on my arm that says ego is the enemy. So that kind of keeps me in check of never forgetting kind of where we come from, the mistakes that we've made. I mean, all sorts of like hiring the wrong person, not vetting them enough, not qualifying the candidate that we're hiring, giving them too much responsibility. And that makes you go back and look at all the processes that you have. Okay, what what can we do so it never happens again? When we first started out, this is like early in the days, we didn't even have any QA people on our team. The developers created something, and I thought, okay, I mean, they created it, must be good. We rolled it out, and like, holy shit, like we need QA people also on our team. So, you learn from those mistakes, and I mean, sometimes I feel like you have to make those mistakes to learn from it. But if you can learn from other people's mistakes, I mean, in hindsight, I wish I joined some masterminds a little bit sooner, worked with a coach a little earlier in my journey. I think
Same.
that would have definitely helped us a lot more. That's the one thing. If I could go back, I would change, just like start working with the coach or join some sort of a mastermind a little bit, like from the beginning of the journey.
Yeah, like Dan Martell 5 years
Yeah,
ago would have done wonders
exactly.
for you, I'm sure.
Exactly.
When
Yeah.
he had
So,
his, SaaS masterminds going or
yeah.
whatever. Luckily I had Annie and Evo. We had a little bit of help, but I wish we got some real good help. Probably like 3-4 years ago with some people advising us and helping and consultants that really helped us get us to the next level. But yeah, the imposter syndrome, I got over that a while ago, to be honest with you. And I could promise you shouldn't have it. You're incredible. You've built something incredible, and be proud of it. And be
Yeah.
proud of, you built the team too. You found them, you identified talent where people didn't, and you elevated them. And that's you as a leader that did that, honestly. So, it's a
Yeah.
huge
Thank you
kudos
for
to
that,
you.
man.
And,
Thank you.
I know you're a modest guy, but like I could tell you, like, I know how hard this is personally. So like what you've built, it's special and it's cool. And I'm eager to see what the next couple years look like, for you as well. But you kind of touched on something that I wanted to talk about too, is like, I can't believe, that this happened. And I built this because like you built a software company that's literally worth tens of millions of dollars today, which is incredible, of
Right.
enterprise value. And I got to do the same thing. And to me, it was just weird. At first you're like, how the hell did I figure out how to do this? So, let's go back and talk about like those earlier versions of us when we just started this, and let's kind of give advice to people who are just getting started. And what would you give to someone that was you 5 years ago, or whenever you started REsimpli? And like, is it dream big? Is it, I always said, you know, build the plane as you're flying it. Like, you'll figure it out. Just go big and scale. And when you break things, that's good problems, because that means there's a bunch of money coming in the door. Kind of, what some advice would you give to someone, starting a SaaS product, or advice to earlier Sharad on what he could have done differently?
Yeah, I mean, same thing, dude. Like what you said, like dream big. Like when I started out, I think I had a little bit of a limiting belief on what I could do. Like I was setting, my aim wasn't too high. I was thinking, okay, if I could just get to this stage, it would be amazing. It would be like that's it. Like like it was initially, man, if I could just get you million in ARR, how incredible would that be? And when you get there, like, oh, there's so much more room that we have to grow. I would say like definitely aim high. And then like for me personally, work with a coach who has been there, done that, and can be an advisor, can be a guide for you. Yes, you want to, I mean, I'm 100% of the same mindset. Uh, just like figure out things as you're doing it. You don't have to have everything planned. Just go ahead. I mean, as long as it's not going to break the company, just go ahead. If you have the luxury of like testing some things out. Some are going to work, some are not going to work. But the only way to know is if you try. So that's the mindset that we take here. Hey, let's just go ahead and try these things. If they work, great. If not, at least we would have the answer that they worked or not. Yeah, so definitely aiming, setting bigger goals, and then working with a coach would be the two things that I would go back and change.
Yeah, I'd say finding the right mastermind, mentor, plug in, whatever, to help solve problems before you have them, or give you advice on problems that they know are going to come up as revenue grows. But I remember, going into Evo's office when, especially like those texting days, we went ballistic. Like our revenue went from zero to almost, we aren't doing quite that revenue now, like 21 to, we went zero to like $40 million in sales in
Wow.
30 months or something like that. It went absolutely nuts. And I remember every day, literally every day, I would go into Evo's office and I'd look at him and I'd say, why not us? Why not? Why can't we grow this to some crazy number? Why not? Someone built Salesforce. Someone built Zillow. Like, why not us? Like, what makes them so much better than us? Like, figure it out, find the right people, hire the right people, dream so big. That's always been like, Annie and Evo's personality, and now you maybe know why I'm their partner, is like, I am that forever optimistic and just hyping them up. And because operationally, they run circles around me. Like, that is not my strength whatsoever.
See, I would have like, if I had a co-founder like you, or someone like you on the team, we would be much, much farther along, because I'm kind of the same way, like with Evo and Annie. Like, I'm really good at operational side of it. Like, that is the stuff that I get excited about on the operation side, on the product development side. But then you also have to make decisions on growing the company. But if I had someone that I could say, hey, just like come with a big vision, and I can just operationalize that, like, that would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that was just,
that's the tough part, is balancing.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, one of my favorite things is definitely, as well as the product roadmap. That's something I've always been heavily involved in. Me and Evo specifically, but surprisingly enough, I'm probably just as much and more involved in the product roadmap. Not the details of whatever we decide to do, but I was very heavily involved on what's next, what are we building, why are we building it, and how we're building it. He would fundamentally work with the team on how to execute it, right? But me and him probably shared, I'd say, equal responsibility of what that looked like. Because I've always thought the product's everything. And how do the customers feel it, play with it? How does it make sense? How the workflows do? Because sometimes when these engineers are building it, and sometimes Evo is almost too smart for his own good, I'm like, no, it needs to be simpler than this. Like, this is too robust. Like, simplify the process. We could be complicated on the back end, but on the front end, how can we have less clicks to get to the result faster, and so on and so forth. So that's always been something I was very much a part of. And then I oversaw like the sales and marketing, and especially at the beginning, the best thing I ever did was, bring in, we were pretty early on the affiliate side, and paying people and that were using our products to promote it. I mean, that's really how we went from that zero to that crazy number in such a short amount of time. And I was lucky. I picked at the same time, Pace got huge, Jamil got huge, Brent got huge, and they're all using our product. They're all texting, and it was just, I mean, we couldn't even hire enough people to keep up with demand at that time. That was like definitely a wild ride. And then, but we climbed that mountain so fast, the crash when the tax regulations changed and the real estate market pulled back and the interest rates, like we had a combination of just like an avalanche of unfortunate events that happened in the same time. And me, Annie, and Evo had to really figure out how to keep this company afloat, keep it profitable. Because there's one point we had over 200 people in our organization because we were growing so quickly.
Wow.
And we had to figure out a way, and everything was going backwards, and we just hired all these people. And I was like, oh shit. So like we had to absolutely battle to get to a good place. And we took us about 1.5 years to dig ourselves out and get profitable again. Because we didn't want to have the product suffer. We didn't want to lay off. We had to do some, but like we kept as many people as we could, as long as we could. We didn't take a salary for over 1 year to make sure that the product would be in a good place. And we were profitable, but like we have such a big org, we have to keep a ton of money in the company. And Annie's like, until we see it going up consistently every month again, like we're not taking $1 because we have to make sure that it's our people first. Like we're already in a good place. Like, and the products have to be in a good place, and the people have to be in a stable environment. So we had to kind of burden some of that for a while. And that's the side that people don't know. They saw, oh, you sold the prop stream today. They don't know what the last 1.5 years looked like for us to have this big revenue drop, grow it back, show growth again, show growth on the data side, because that company was doing nothing 3 years ago. And absolutely, like, we had that rise, but that fall sucked, dude. I don't even think you knew about that.
No, I had no idea about that. Dude, that sucks, man. Like it just goes to show that the team that you guys have built, and then the relationship that you, Eva and Annie have to get to the point that where you guys are at. Yeah. You 100% deserve all the success you guys have gotten, man. It is hard, man. It is hard. I feel absolutely blessed, grateful to be doing what I'm doing, but sometimes you have to go through those tough days to appreciate the good days. If
I
you
wouldn't trade
always
it.
have a good, I wouldn't either, man. And like that's when you appreciate the good days. If every day that you have, it's just like an amazing day, you lose perspective of what it means to have a good day in your life. Yeah. It just like being grateful for everything you've done. It keeps, at least it keeps me grounded on, hey, it's never take anything for granted. Never.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a learning lesson. We were trying to go to the moon. I don't regret
Yeah.
scaling and doing the things. I didn't know tax regulations were going to change, and interest rates were going to be like record highs. And
Mm.
some of it was in our control, some of it was out of our control. I think we hired probably too many positions that weren't revenue impacting to where like we just didn't need the roles, to be completely honest with you. But learning a bull market and then quickly after a market that pulls back is a good learning lesson for in the future. And what I really learned from that is like how great we were during that come up wasn't as great as we thought it was. A lot of it was market conditions and just everyone, like real estate, going ballistic. And then when it pulled back, we actually did really good for what happened and how it happened. But at the time, all you see is revenue dropping and having to figure out how to fix it and how to stay profitable. And but at the same time, making sure that you're building a product that's still first in class in the industry that you're in. And at the end of the day, like if you decide to neglect that, I mean, it's all going to unravel. So like we just had to stick through it and battle our way back and continue to have a great product. And as we made some of these shifts with our pricing and packaging and some of our LLM models and our AI, like I could tell you today, batch leads is the best it's ever been. And I'm really excited to see how PropStream integrates all those technologies and wants to do a bunch of crazy stuff, because they have three very powerful platforms. And I think that they're a very smart group, and they're going to figure out how to really, at the end of the day, help real estate investors make more money, just like what you do.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah.
So I guess let's not just talk AI on this next question, but what tech trends do you think will disrupt the industry in the next 3 to 5 years? And if you're going to talk about AI a little specifically, but like what trends do you think are really going to help, PropTech, or going to change PropTech besides, I'd say, just AI, because that's also very much so a given, but maybe on what maybe you think AI could look like? It's hard to say 3 to 5 years. So let's say 1 to 2 years to be honest with you, because I also think that it's shifted, like the affiliate model and trends have shifted from like almost having companies have to be, I guess the word I'm looking for is like having almost your own brand, your own social, and having your own presence. Like I'm actually working on my own. That's why I have a podcast now, is like, I need to kind of be the brand to some degree. Like you can't just lean on affiliates, as I feel like you once did 3, 4, 5 years ago, because they want to own their own products, or they're going to want to white label your product because they understand the pull that they have, especially those big ones, like, the eyes that they could get. It's tough for a company, to get that. So on like the marketing sales side, I think it's really going to be driven by like your own curated content and being able to like, how do you interact and how do you grab that audience and them see the value in what you're, not just what your business is doing, but what you're doing and why your business is great.
I mean, honestly, like maybe I'm very naive in that I'm not active on any social media. I just have one bookmark on my browser that takes me to a Facebook group of REsimpli, and that's it. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. My team has tried to do that. I'm like, honestly, that's not something I believe I can add the most value in. I mean, it's again, maybe it sounds very naive. I have one canvas in my office that just says, be so good you can't be ignored. I mean, that's the mindset we've taken as a company that, hey, if everyone in the company is just so good at what they're doing that you can't be ignored, everything else will be taken care of. Like if the marketing is just doing whatever they need to do and they're like just so freaking good that
Right.
our content can't be ignored, everything else gets taken care of. Same thing with our
But
customer support, same thing with
it
our
doesn't necessarily
development.
need to be you, but like your
It
brand
doesn't,
story, what you guys are about, and like really curating um, why you guys are different. Why are you guys? How do you operate ethically? And like people care about that stuff a lot more now. I feel like
right,
than they did in the past. And I don't mind doing social stuff. I feel like I have some type of flair for it. I'm obviously not the best in the world either, but it's some I want to know. I want to be able to impact more people on that want to start a business or a product, and
right,
that's kind of what I'm transitioning to a little bit more and find strategic relationships and reach out to some of our big customers that I've done on our podcast. Some of our future customers, Matt's like, interview Sharad. I want him to be a customer. And I, but like just to get to know you and like if we're a fit, great. But I kind of want you to know more about us and I know
right,
you know Annie and Evo, but like what Batch Data is really trying to do and what we're really trying to do is give you guys the best, not just data, but best other proprietary stuff that we're creating to help you and your customers be more
right,
successful. Like that's my mission now is batch data needs to be that. It's what batch data is what batch leads was to the investors. Like I want batch data to be that to the PropTech, companies that
right.
are servicing that industry.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think like the biggest trend, like going back to the question, like besides AI would be like how are you using data in your business? How are you
Yes.
helping investors add value from the data that you have? I think that's where the money is. For us, I mean, we've always been about, hey, it needs to be an all-in-one software. So that like for us, our vision is like what we're doing, how can we just make it like a truly, truly all-in-one software, like with every single feature that we have, it just adds so much value that people would just want to use us just for that part of it, even if they're not doing anything else. So that's kind of what we're looking at it. But yes, I mean, it really comes down to data, like having the best quality data, the most timely data, and then how you are utilizing that data to actually help your investors make better or help your customers make better decisions based on the data that you have. That is what is the exciting part for us is like those are things we're working on over the next 6 months to a year and then going into some other couple of different industries. And that's kind of what we see where we can add the most value.
And for people that are watching this podcast that are customers of you, I want you to know that Sharad cares very much about where he gets his data because he has absolutely ripped ours apart. He's dug into it. Like you want to make sure you're getting the best. You have questions. Why is this that? Why is this? Like you truly care about the data side of things because to be quite honest, you've been like, hey, like there's something missing here, and it's helped us make our data better as well as like
Right.
you're very, very much so data driven business, which is great because we have a lot of people that go through and assess and look at our data, and I could say without a doubt you're in like the top 3 of how much due diligence you've done and how far you've dug in. So it's a kudos to you saying, I want to make sure I'm getting the best. I want to make sure that my customers are getting the best. And I think it's important people know like the type of research that you do to make sure that you're putting the most accurate and best data, in front of your customers that are using REsimpli.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it goes back to like if we are just adding the most value to our customers, like to me, honestly, everything else gets taken care of.
Right.
Yes, I mean, having the amazing contact will attract people, but at the end of the day, if we have the best product out there, our customers are going to speak for our product. Like majority of, we of course have some of the big affiliates that we work with, but majority of our new customers come from word of mouth or referral. Like that's absolutely amazing place to be in where our customers are promoting us to their network. But that only happens if we truly put a good product out there, and then people just start, speaking about what we're doing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, having like kind of just, working with batch data, having the best quality data, and just making sure it fits our need, and
Right.
then how that data is actually going to add value to our end customer, like that's kind of where it gets started with.
Yeah, and sometimes the sales guys are like, why does he care so much? I'm like, why shouldn't he care so much? And
Right.
they're just like, our data is really good. Tell him to use it. And I'm like, your job is to make sure that it is, and me and Evo's job is to make sure our data is good. So that's something we do. One of the last questions before we wrap up, though, I guess like KPIs, or what are the most important KPIs of running a SaaS business? What do you really look at, daily, weekly, monthly? What's really important to you? Because I can let you know what's really important to us. I'm just
Yes.
curious on what do you really look like? Is it churn? Is it growth? Is it, I guess net growth, because you're going to have customers churn, you're going to have customers
Right.
coming in. Is it, that's one of the things important. But the other thing that's also really important to me, having a robust product, and we kind of had our own version of all-in-one as well, is we had a lot of data that we built around, where are people using the software and where are people not, to see if like our product launches are being adopted and work properly or not, because that gives us signals and cues of, are we hitting the mark or are we not? So that's like, outside of like the generalized stuff, that's something that we've worked really hard on to make sure that
Right.
we're doing.
Yeah, obviously some of the key metrics like weekly trial, uh, trial to paid conversion, then our retention, like those are some of the numbers that we look at on a weekly basis, and the revenue number, the churn number. But honestly, like one thing we didn't even do, it's like we're not even using Stripe subscription. So like a lot of the data that we track it manually, which has just been an absolute pain. We are going to be moving over to, we use Stripe for payment processing, but you know how they have a subscription model that you can use, plug into,
Yep. Yep.
these like ChartMogul or other platforms like that. We don't even have that. So a lot of the data that we track on a manual basis. So that's something I'm excited about, like just this quarter rolling into a Stripe subscription, plugging into that. But yeah, those I would say the important numbers are, then there's other stuff that you look at, like, okay, how many people are signing up for your trial every week? How many of those are actually
Converting.
net trials? If people are not even verifying their email or phone number, like, do we count them as a trial or not? They just
Right.
signed up. And then how many people are booking and onboarding? How many people are actually showing up? How many people are attending? And then we have, the churn number. Like, honestly, the churn number is the one that I've now started just accepting it in our industry.
You have
That,
to. You're going to beat your
yeah,
head against the wall. It's a problem you will never solve. That is the real, like, I've always said it's a double-edged sword, especially for like the real estate investor or wholesaling community. You always have a ton of people coming in and trying it, but you also have a ton of people coming out. So it's like, we typically have a lot more people getting into something. So that means a lot of trials, but it also means they're trying it. They're trying to get their
right,
first, second, third deal. They may not get that. And then, they're going to churn it. And it's not necessarily a product problem. It's are they going to take this as like a full time or the career path that they want to go down? And it took me a while to get it's just me and our CGO that we have in our company. We took it so personally for so long. And then I think we finally got to the point where it's like, this is where we want to manage it and just be okay with it. And how do we
right,
grow our customer base from there? We know the trend of what this is going to look like. How do we get more customers? And then over time, expand inside that customer base. How do we give them more products to spend more money? Is like, how do we
right.
grow our lifetime value is more important. Like, the churn's just going to be the churn, like
Yeah.
grow the lifetime value of the customer. How do you do that? And that was kind of on the B2B side. It's so weird like that. I'm not going to think about that forever anymore, because it's not my company anymore, but that's where my head has been the last 7 years. And
Yeah,
luckily
absolutely.
I get to stay on and help consult with PropStream for the next year and do that. But holy shit, I'm still wrapping my head around like
that it
I don't
happened.
own
Yeah,
batch leads or batch dialer anymore. It's
I
weird to
know.
say.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. Like just the people that are actually using your, loving your product, how do we get that set of customers to spend more money with you? Like that's a big some products that we're rolling out this year, that's a big push towards it. Okay, how do we get people to spend more money with us? People that are already using us, that have been using us for, you know, years. How do we get these people to like start spending more money with us? So that's something we're doing with the product development is like looking to say, what else are they spending their money on? How can we get them to spend that money with us rather than to another service provider, another software that they're using?
Yeah, and to clarify to our customers watching, we don't want you to spend more money. We want to add more value that helps make you more
Yeah,
money, and in turn, it may
exactly.
cost you a little bit more money.
Right.
We're always looking the value, but it costs us a ton of money to build these products and features, and there is a cost to them, cost for us, and
Right.
there should be a cost for you because we're going to help streamline your business, your operations, and have you guys, you know, our job is to both of our jobs, these since we started these businesses is like what I love about the business that we've been in for so long is we get to help change people's lives with softwares that we give them that are instrumental to their business. I remember because I didn't make any money until I got into real estate investing. I never made more than $30,000 in a year. And that was such a life-changing moment when I got to get my first big wholesale deal. And like my fifth wholesale deal was a $250,000 deal. Like talk about life-changing.
Wow.
It was, I went
Yeah.
from 6 months prior, how do I fill up my gas tank and pay rent, to be like, oh my goodness. Or no, I think I just bought my first house, but it was like a $80,000 condo in Scottsdale at the time in 2013. And luckily I had like a $500 payment, but it's like, oh my goodness. Like it was such a mind shift, and like not having to worry about those day-to-day bills, and just like, it just absolutely changed my life. I remember going out to a nice dinner with friends for a birthday. I'm like, man, I hope the chicken isn't more than $25 because I don't know how I'm going to pay for this.
I know, man. It's crazy to just like look back at those days and then kind of look at where you're at now and compare it to that. It's surreal. Yeah.
Yeah, and we get to build, these great softwares for these people to go do that for themselves. That's what's
Yeah.
always excited me, is like really that story of someone being like, "Hey, I got my first 2 deals because of batch, and now like
Right.
now I built this real estate company and I'm living like this great life, and I got the financial freedom that I want," and so on and so forth. I always say wholesaling gives you financial freedom, but man, it's a high paying job because you can never like it doesn't run
Yeah.
itself. Like if you're
It
good
does
at it,
not.
the hardest person in the hardest thing I always thought in wholesaling was keeping and maintaining talent. I don't think the marketing was that hard. I don't think getting the deals was that hard, or selling the deals was that hard. So if someone's really good, it's not that hard for them to go do it on their own. It actually is, because like the marketing's tougher than, I think, if you're really great at sales, how do you keep a really good sales guy there to make sure that they make really good money? But it's not, really great sales guys in wholesale don't always equate to really good business owners in wholesale. And sometimes it's like, before they leave, and you're like, you're going to come back, because like it's a marketing business, it's a KPI and process driven business. And a
Right.
lot of those guys aren't good at that, but it's an interesting business that, I mean, the first time I made $1 million in a year, it was like 3 years removed of not making a lot of money. And it was like pinch myself moments. And my parents were like, what the fuck do you do? Like,
Yeah.
you do what? Like,
Yeah.
how do you make all this money? And then, 2 years later, I'm retiring them, and they're just like, I don't know what happened. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah. I know. But you deserve everything you've gotten, man. You should be very proud. Parents should be very proud of you.
They
Yeah.
they are, which is good. Before we go, I guess you don't say you have much socials, but like, how would someone get a hold of you if they wanted to reach out or ask more about your product, or just maybe have questions for you specifically on, how to, like, you've built a very impressive product, and I'm sure people want to pick your brain on occasion as well.
I mean, the best would be to email. It's Sharad at resimpli.com. I check. I mean, I have an assistant, but yeah, anything that's for me, I'll reply to those emails personally. I'm not super active on social media, so yeah, that would be the best way. It's Sharad at resimpli.com.
So to some of you people that want to grow a SaaS product, maybe just grind and don't do all the social content, because this dude's built a company that's worth lots of 8 figures. So remember that too. But, and I guess I kind of switched up the very last question, but what like one or two books has been most impactful to you on the business aspect of that, really changed your perspective or changed your thought process, or just really impacted you to get your business to where it is today?
The one that comes to mind is Michael Gerber, E-Myth Revisited. That was an important one. And The One Thing. Those two are good books. Yeah. Yeah, those are the ones I would go back to.
I
I mean,
always
again,
go
it
back.
can
Go
it
ahead.
kind of changes, and I mean, like you feel like you have a need for different books depending on what stage of your career you're in. But just looking back, though, the two that made the biggest impact back when I really needed them was E-Myth Revisited and The One Thing. I don't read as many business books anymore, but like those two were good books.
The one that I always, Extreme Ownership was always just a great book for me, that just, if someone in your business fucks up, like, look at yourself first, or your process
Right,
first, or where did you go wrong? Where was the
right,
miscommunication? And if there wasn't one, how do you properly go to them to where they'll hold themselves accountable for the mistake that they made, and how can they get there? And then the one at the beginning that I reread it once a year, and it's like not dumbest book, but it's just The Go Giver has always been a
right,
book that stuck with me, because I always try to build new relationships. And then my thought always goes to, who do I know that can maybe help this person? Or who do I know of a person that they could help? Um, and I've always just been that networking person that connects people and attracts people together and does that. And I truly try not to ever I want something in return. I've never been a tit for tat type of guy. I just want to give value, and it's going to reciprocate back to me in some way, shape, or form. If it's from you indirectly or directly, I've really learned, and it sounds so dumb, but if you truly do good for people, good things come back to you. And I try not to be transactional. And I think there's too many people in this world that are truly transactional now. And everything is, okay, well, if I do this for you, what do I get back? Or how can
right,
you compensate me? And I still don't work that way. I don't think I ever want to work that way, because then I'm doing something for me. I'm not doing something for them. And I've always thought that's just a poor way to do business. And I feel like too many people have kind of went down that route now.
right.
I don't know your thoughts on that though.
No, you're absolutely right. It, I mean, it makes it because we live in a world that we live in. It makes it easy for you to stand out when you actually care about people. It does. I mean, like I take it very seriously. Like I have another tattoo that's a gratitude, impact, and faith. For me, like one of the things that I want to do is make an impact. And then the people that I can directly make an impact are the team members that we have on REsimpli, and then our customers. Like if I can do that, everything else will take care of itself. Like I don't have any goals of taking care of world hunger. I feel like this is my role in the world, is to just
Yep.
take care of these set of people that I feel like I can somehow directly impact. And if I do that, I feel like I've done my part, my responsibility, and then, hopefully people see that and it just spreads across, creates a ripple effect.
Yeah, I can agree. I think that's a great way to end the Real SaaS podcast. Sharad, I appreciate you coming on today. And
All right.
everyone, thank you for joining. And until next time, let's get it.